Welcome back to this amazing edition of Truth in the Soil, where we uncover the buried stories, the silenced voices, and the untold events that have shaped our nation, Nigeria, Africa, and beyond. In this special episode, you're going to discover the shocking truth no one ever told you about the June 12, 1993 election and the stolen victory of MKO Abiola, a truth that was buried, erased, and forgotten by many, but not by history. You've heard of Nigeria's Independence Day.
The princess was received with yells from the kids. Her friendly charm had quickly made her very popular. It was as the representative of Her Majesty the Queen that Princess Alexandra of Kent returned in the evening. She was about to hand over Nigeria's constitution. And presently, quoting the Queen's own words, she was to wish Nigeria a great and noble future.
You may remember the Civil War, but June 12, 1993, that was the day millions of Nigerians, across religion, ethnicity, and background, came together to choose one man to lead them, MKO Abiola. It was the freest, fairest, and most peaceful election Nigeria had ever seen. But it ended in betrayal. The military annulled the results. Abiola was imprisoned. And 5 years later he was dead. But what really happened? Why was the most unifying election in Nigerian history erased? And what truth about Abiola's death has still never been fully explained? In this video, we uncover the truth behind the annulment and the power struggles it exposed, the mysterious circumstances of Abiola's death, and the lesson every Nigerian youth must learn if we want a better future. Because this is not just a story about politics. It's the story of a stolen victory and a stolen future.
Before we begin, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to Truth in the Soil. It helps us reach more people with truth, light, and purpose. Thank you for doing that. Now, let's begin with a story many tried to erase.
Who was MKO Abiola? Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola was born on August 24, 1937, in Abeokuta, Ogun State, into a poor family. His first name, Kashimawo, meant, "Let's wait and see," because his parents weren't sure he'd survive. He did more than survive, he thrived. Abiola sold firewood and cleaned mosques as a boy just to help feed his family. But he was brilliant. He went on to study accounting at Glasgow University in Scotland, returning to Nigeria to work with ITT, an American telecommunications giant. He became a billionaire, built schools and mosques, gave scholarships, and fed entire villages. His generosity wasn't about politics. He was loved by the people long before he entered the race. MKO Abiola was a devout Muslim respected by Christians, a Yoruba man embraced in the north, a businessman who spoke the language of the poor. When he entered the 1993 presidential race, he wasn't just another candidate. He was a symbol of unity. Nigeria before June 12. To understand June 12, you must understand the chaos before it. Nigeria in the early 1990s was ruled by military dictator General Ibrahim Babangida, a man known for cunning politics and broken promises. For years, Babangida promised to hand over power to a civilian government. The country had suffered under military rule since 1983, when Major General Muhammadu Buhari first took over, followed by General Babangida in 1985. There was massive inflation, strikes, religious and ethnic tensions, and increasing international pressure to return to democracy. Babangida set up a transition program and created two political parties, SDP, Social Democratic Party, and NRC, National Republican Convention. Many Nigerians were skeptical, but when Abiola emerged as the SDP candidate, something unexpected happened. Hope was born. Hope 93, the campaign that united Nigeria. Abiola's campaign slogan was simple: Hope 93. But what it represented was powerful. His vision was free education, poverty eradication, religious tolerance, national healing. He wasn't just making promises, he was embodying what the people longed for. Abiola campaigned across Nigeria. In the north, Muslim leaders embraced him. In the south, Christians saw him as a man of peace. In the east and west, youth turned out in thousands to hear him speak. He didn't run based on tribe or religion. He ran on vision. And on June 12, 1993, the people responded. June 12, 1993, the election that shocked the world. The election was held on Saturday, June 12, 1993. Unlike any election before, or since, it was peaceful, orderly, massive. People voted without fear. Voter turnout was high, and there was minimal violence. Even international observers praised the process. When the unofficial results came in, MKO Abiola had won 19 out of 30 states. He even defeated his opponent Bashir Tofa in his home state of Kano. He had over 8.3 million votes, a clear majority. Nigeria had spoken. But instead of celebration, came silence. The annulment, how democracy was stolen. 10 days after the election, on June 23, 1993, General Babangida annulled the results. No explanation. No legal justification. Just an announcement. The National Electoral Commission was stopped from releasing the official results. Abiola was never officially declared winner. Why? Rumors swirled. The military feared losing control. Northern power brokers were threatened. Some foreign interests were uncomfortable with Abiola's independence. But for the Nigerian people, it felt like a slap in the face. Protests erupted nationwide, newspapers were shut down, activists were arrested, and Nigeria's fragile unity began to crack. The aftermath: arrest, resistance, and death. Abiola didn't remain silent. On June 11, 1994, 1 year after the election, he declared himself president. He was arrested by the military government under General Sani Abacha and imprisoned in solitary confinement. For 4 years, Abiola was held without trial. He was offered freedom if he agreed to renounce his mandate. He refused. While in prison, his health deteriorated. His wife, Kudirat Abiola, was assassinated in Lagos in 1996. International pressure grew, but the regime remained unmoved. Then on July 7, 1998, just after Abacha died mysteriously, MKO Abiola also died, the very day he was to be released. The official story? Heart attack. But the rumors? Poison tea. He collapsed after meeting a U.S. delegation. No autopsy was ever made public. To this day, the full truth about Abiola's death remains buried. Legacy: why June 12 still matters today. Years later, on June 6, 2018, former President late Muhammadu Buhari officially declared June 12 as Nigeria's Democracy Day, replacing May 29. Abiola was posthumously awarded the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, GCFR, the title reserved for Nigerian presidents. But this recognition came 25 years too late. More than 3 decades later. In a surprising turn, Babangida publicly admitted that MKO Abiola had actually won the election. Speaking at his autobiography launch in February 2025, he confirmed that a careful review of the detailed election figures showed there was no doubt Abiola satisfied the constitutional requirements across a majority of states. He described annulling the election as the most difficult decision of his life, and expressed regret that the transition to democracy was derailed by that choice. He acknowledged Abiola's win was legitimate, conceding it was a credible, free and fair exercise that should have been allowed to stand. This admission validated the popular verdict of millions, and cemented Abiola's place in Nigeria's democratic memory.
Credible, free and fair elections were held on June 12, 1993. However, the tragic irony of history remains that the administration that devised a near-perfect electoral system and conducted those near-perfect elections could not complete the process. That accident of history is most regrettable. The nation is entitled to expect my impression of regret.
It took over 30 years, but the truth finally has a voice. Today, the struggle of June 12 lives on, in the #EndSARS protests. in demands for free and fair elections, in every youth who still dreams of a Nigeria that works. MKO Abiola's legacy is not just in a day, it is in the unbroken will of the people. He stood for truth, justice, unity, and he paid for it with his life. A call to remember, reflect, and rise. We owe it to those who died, to remember their voices. To those who live, to raise our own. Because if history teaches us anything, it's this: silence is not peace. Obedience is not freedom. And forgetting is the first step to repeating. So, speak truth. Live for justice. And never forget. June 12th. Thank you for watching this eye-opening edition of Truth in the Soil. If this story moved you, challenged you, or opened your eyes to a piece of history you never knew, then we encourage you, don't let it end here. Like this video to show your support. Share it so others can learn the truth. And subscribe to our channel for more hidden stories from Nigeria, Africa, and beyond. New episodes every week. We believe that when history is told truthfully, nations can heal, grow, and rise. Until next time, keep seeking the truth beneath the soil.